Okay, now if you want to do a voiceover using a plug-and-play microphone like this one, my recommendation is that number one, you plug the plug-and-play device in before you open Adobe Premiere. Sometimes Adobe Premiere doesn't detect new sources or new output sources. So the best thing for you to do is to plug it in first. If you fail to do so, you'll have to go into settings, you'll have to go into your sound settings, you'll have to click on this and that and this and that. But 9 times out of 10, if you plug in your microphone ahead of time, especially if it's a plug-and-play device, Adobe will detect it. Or when you open up Adobe, it will be an audio option as an input. So that's something that you need to consider before you start messing with Adobe Premiere and audio microphones. So now, following the directions of the previous video by plugging in my microphone that I wanted to use, now I can open up Adobe Premiere and we can do a voiceover directly into Adobe Premiere from the microphone into the project itself. So now, working with Adobe Premiere, I have the end of my timeline here, and I want to be able to record a voiceover. So the issue at hand then is I need to know what I'm reading in order to do it. So I'm going to be kind of double dipping here between what is being recorded and what I can see on the screen here. So the first thing I have to do, though, is I have to place the informational slide into the project that I'm going to be reading from. So I do that by clicking Import and going to the slide that I need, which is slide number 2. And I'm going to place that on the timeline on the main video. And if I hover over it with the timeline, you'll notice it's the wrong size. So I'm going to resize it by doing our scale change, which we've done this a million times now in this class. And I'm just going to make it so that it fits the screen nicely. The second thing I'm going to do is that I don't know how long it's going to take me to actually read the script. I know it's not going to be just 5 seconds. It's probably going to be more like 15 to 20 seconds long. So what you have to do is right now, the time duration of this by default is 5 seconds onto the timeline. What we actually need it to be is much longer. So the way that you extend the amount of time that the slide is on the timeline is you simply go to the right side of the slide's item icon on the timeline and you click and you drag it over. So I'm going to put it on for what is essentially 37 seconds, or because you can see how long it is on the screen there. So I'm going to make it way longer than it needs to be, with the understanding that I can always shorten that slide.jpg file down. So before I can even record the voiceover, then I have to look at the audio tracks. So the main audio track for this project that you're listening to is with this video right here. There's a second audio track that is currently muted, and it's muted because this is video we wanted in the overlay. I just went back to it, and we don't want that noise from that to be there. So what I did is I muted that track. So what we can't do is we can't record our voiceover in the muted track. We should record it in audio track number 3, which is currently not muted. With that said, the way that you do a voiceover in Adobe Premiere is you pick the spot in the timeline where you want the recording to begin. So for me, I want the recording to begin on this frame. What will happen when I actually initiate the record function of this is it will move the timeline back a little bit, and then it starts moving forward, and then it starts recording at the frame that you chose, and then it stops recording at the frame that you click to stop recording. So starting and stopping recording is controlled by this button that I'm hovering over right here called VoiceOver Record. So if I hit that button right now, the timeline will move back and then it'll start moving forward. And at the moment of this frame that I currently have it on, the microphone becomes live and you have to talk. When you click it again, it will stop the audio recording and an audio track will appear inside of this of audio track 3. And that's why you have to hit the voiceover record that's next to audio 3. If I do it here, yeah, sure, I'm going to have audio there, but the whole track is muted and we don't want to turn it on from the previous clip. So I'm going to attempt to do this in this video tutorial. The courses that are required as part of the television radio broadcast career pathway are Introduction to Communications, Principles of Radio and TV and Communication, TV and Radio Production 1, including audio and video production, and TV and Radio Production 2, Mass Media and Performance. And what you see is that an audio track has been recorded here. And I usually like to listen to it, but the levels look pretty good based upon the shapes of the waves. So if the audio track is only this long, only goes to this spot, I don't want this slide to be there longer than the audio track. So I'm just going to click until those two line up. And now the audio track matches the duration of the informational slide that we have here. So that's how you do a voiceover directly into Adobe Premiere. Thank you.
So in watching the previous tutorial, you probably noticed that the second video has really grainy audio levels to it. And that's because I was recording the video, my audio, through the microphone in the computer while I was recording the audio track in Adobe Premiere in my microphone. So in order to illustrate that the sound levels were better, I'm actually going to show you the clip of what the final voiceover actually sounded like, so that you know that the voiceover didn't sound like the garbage audio levels in the tutorial. It actually came out pretty clean. The required classes for television and radio broadcast are as follows: Introduction to Communications, Principles of Radio and TV and Communication, TV and Radio Production 1, Audio and Video Production, and of course, TV and Radio Production 2, Mass Media and Performance. So obviously, when you listen to the raw video, it's pretty clear. So I just wanted to make sure that you heard what it really sounded like in the final product.